reality rock stars, if you've ever sat on the couch wondering, do I really need ADHD meds? Should I even bother? This video is for you. We are diving deep into the wild world of ADHD medications, stimulants, non-stimulants, SSRIs, beta blockers, and those off-label curveballs doctors sometimes throw your way. I'm breaking it down rock and roll style. No fluff, just the real talk on what these meds do, why some of them kick your ass before they help, and what you need to know if you're deciding whether to jump on the med train or not. Plus, I'm mixing in my own ADHD med journey, the brutal side effects, the nightmare trials, and that crazy moment when my brain finally clicked into place. Want the full scoop in an easy to digest, no BS format? Stick around. And hey, don't forget to grab the free download with more information. The link's in the description. Now let's get to it. First up, stimulants. These are your classic ADHD meds. Vyvanse, Adderall, Ritalin. They crank up dopamine and norepinephrine in your brain. It helps you focus, it helps you get shit done, and it helps you cut through all the noise. It sounds good, right? Yeah, except when you start high and hard like I did. The doctor threw a way too high dose of a stimulant at me from the jump. None of that slow buildup. I was jittery as hell, edgy, quick to snap, like I'd swallowed a live wire. I mean, I could pick lint up off the carpet and obsess over it. It was like my brain was on crack. That wired feeling, yeah, it's not sustainable. I lasted a week, and then I told myself I don't have ADHD. There's no way I have ADHD. This is crazy. Spoiler alert, I did. And after deciding to get serious about this diagnosis, I went back and tried again. I still started with too high of a dose of a stimulant, but we also added a non-stimulant on top. The side effects hit like a freight train. I was sweating so much I changed clothes multiple times a day. I was having headaches that made me want to crawl under a rock. Nausea that almost broke me. And this complete mental exhaustion that knocked me flat on the couch. Here's the kicker. We had to taper down those doses by 10 milligrams every month for months on end because the side effects for me were so bad at first. Now let's talk non-stimulants. These are medications like Strattera, unlike stimulants which hit fast and hard. These work slower and steadier to calm the emotional roller coaster and to kind of help with impulse control, and that's something I really struggle with, even now. Now that sounds pretty chill, right? Except that this non-stimulant I took gave me the worst headaches and the worst nausea and the worst exhaustion I've ever experienced on any medication ever in my life, bar none. Imagine feeling like you're stuck at a bad sci-fi flick where your body just aches and your brain feels like it's drowning. This was no walk in the park. For weeks, I was miserable, but I stuck with it because the doc and I hoped this would be the key to unlocking my brain's potential. The process was brutal. The side effects were so intense that the day-to-day felt impossible. But I had promised myself no quitting. I had to get better. Eventually, the dose was dialed down to a level where those side effects became manageable. And I could start to see the benefits without feeling physically wrecked. This struggle was a marathon, not a sprint. And honestly, the hardest part of my ADHD journey so far. Now finally, when I hit the right combined dose of a stimulant and non-stimulant, I swear, I was sitting on my couch and like my brain, every single thing just fell out of my ears. Like everything inside my brain fell out of my ears. And for the first time, my brain was empty. It was full on empty and silent. And that was terrifying. It was like my own personal brain shut down. I swear when I tell you, it was the first time in my entire life that I didn't feel like I was solving a problem. That was terrifying. It was like my own personal brain just shut down. Everything fell out. There were no images or thoughts. I wasn't worrying. There was just nothing there. I don't even know how to explain it. But what I can say is that it was the first time in my life that I didn't have some type of problem that absolutely had to be solved in that moment. Right away, day and night. But weirdly, the longer that silence stuck around, the more I realized this is actually what normal feels like. And that's when I knew I had found the right dose. I didn't have to solve a problem 24/7 in my head. Since then, I've been on very low doses of both of these medications. They keep me functional without turning me into a complete mess, but they're not perfect. Now, you might have heard about SSRIs or beta blockers being used for ADHD symptoms. SSRIs or antidepressants, they're mostly for anxiety and depression, but they can help if these are like big parts of your ADHD experience. They also have things called beta blockers, not something you would normally think of for ADHD. And they're more about kind of calming the physical symptoms of anxiety, like your heart racing and the shaking. There are also off-label meds that doctors sometimes try. I've tried a few that were for blood pressure, but that's a whole nother can of worms, and we will get into that eventually. The takeaway here is meds for ADHD are not one size fits all. Your doc might try different combinations, and it might take a hot minute to find out what fits your brain's unique rhythm. Here's the cold hard truth. Finding the right meds for ADHD can feel like a nightmare. The side effects can be brutal. You may feel sicker than you've ever felt in your life. You might want to throw in the towel, and a lot of people end up doing just that. I cannot sugarcoat it. I spent months feeling like I was dying from side effects. And that's a normal part of the process for many of us. They just don't really tell you a lot about that. If you take nothing else away from this, listen to this. Here's the rock bottom raw truth. You have to be your own health advocate. Doctors are overwhelmed, they're rushed, and they often don't have time to really figure you out, and it is not their fault. You need to drive your own bus. You need to take notes, track your symptoms, your side effects, and how you feel. You need to bring that info with you to every single appointment. And if it's possible, bring a friend or a family member that you can trust that helps you keep track. This is an incredibly hard lesson to learn, but it is an absolute must for anyone dealing with ADHD or any other chronic medical condition. One quick side note, for women like me, perimenopause can seriously intensify ADHD symptoms. Estrogen plays a huge role in brain chemistry, and when levels fluctuate, your ADHD might feel 10 times worse. I'm on a hormone patch now, and while it helps, this topic deserves its own video, potentially series of videos, because it is a whole other beast and something pretty new to me. If you want a detailed breakdown of all these meds, side effects, and tips for how to be your own advocate, grab the free download linked below. And now, quick question for you. What's the one word you would use to describe your ADHD medication journey so far? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading. And don't forget to subscribe for more ADHD Real Talk and hit that bell so you don't miss the next video where we'll talk more about women and ADHD. Thanks for hanging out. Stay real, stay raw, and keep rocking your reality.